Okay. We're uh,
Okay.
we're here. We're back. We actually lived up to our commitment to do this once a week. So good on us.
And if,
Congratulations.
and if anyone has seen the first video, you know we have reached the count of 9,99,994.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We're just missing a few. Just a few to reach that good old million viewers on a video. One step at a time. We'll get there. But it's good to be back. It's good to do this again. This is actually I think this is going to turn into something that's really nice and social for me. These days are crazy for me. I don't really get much of an opportunity to actually be all that social with anybody. I don't know if you do, but
I only get one or two evenings with my friends out. That's it, because they are all so occupied with their lives and work. I barely get to talk to them.
what is the
Uh,
thing
so
that they like to do when they go out?
we usually play ping pong and
Okay,
have a lot of tea.
and a
We
lot
uh,
of
we
tea.
are Yeah, we are tea fanatics, so we'll go to a tea joint and sit there for like 2 hours
Oh, wow.
and just keep reordering tea.
A tea house. There's a lot of tea. I know tea is pretty big in India. Like that whole side of the world, tea is a pretty big deal. And
Yeah,
Britain too. British people love their tea, as far as I
but
know.
they probably stole it from us,
Probably. Or do
like
yeah.
everything else.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And I know
But
actually in Japan it's pretty big too, I think.
yeah, yeah, I think it was invented in China, and from there it came to India. And
Hmm.
but the original tea that Chinese made was pretty much out of leaves.
Yeah. Right. Like fresh leaves.
And what Indian tea is, it's completely different. It's a roasted form of leaves, and they come in small granules.
Okay. Okay.
And then you have to filter it out. And then we add milk and other spices, because why not?
Yeah, of
Everything has
course.
to be spicy.
Yeah, of course. Of course. That's the best part of anything that comes from India that you can consume. Is just the spice. When you buy, I've heard when you buy a TV, you actually get like they put a little spice on the TV too. They just sprinkle it on.
Yeah,
And
but we just leave it aside.
that's awesome. That's awesome. What is your favorite
Yeah,
Indian
now
spice?
that you mention,
Oh,
that is something really that we do with the TV or anything new that we buy.
okay.
Not everyone does that, but some people do.
Okay.
They tie a lemon and a chili.
Oh, lemon and
Have you
chili.
ever, yeah, have you ever seen that? You can pull up the photo of that.
Okay, let me look it up. That's a good idea. I got this all handy for us now. I set this up where I can actually look this up. So you said it's lemon and chili.
Yeah, you can maybe search India lemon and chili.
Indian tea, maybe.
No, it's not tea.
Okay.
It's something that we tie for good luck,
Oh,
to keep the bad vibes away.
okay. I typed in literally for good luck. It is believed that hanging lemon and chilies at home protects the person from evil eyes. It is believed that the sour taste of lemon and the pungent taste of chili disturbs the concentration of the evil eye. Is that right?
Yeah,
Ah, that's interesting. So you have the evil eye in your culture too. So do I. We call it khamsa.
Hamsa,
Khamsa, yeah.
Khamsa,
Khamsa. And it's like the hand with the eye in the middle, right? Do you have that?
like Illuminati.
Not Illuminati. I I have like I'm gonna show a picture of it on here. So that way when you actually when you view this video yourself, you'll see what I'm talking about. But this is pretty cool. So I see it's like on a string.
Yeah,
And is it a string? And everything's kind of
yeah,
like wrapped?
yeah. It's threaded,
Yeah.
and there is one piece of small charcoal at the end.
Interesting. Oh yeah. I see that. I see
Yeah.
that. Yeah, that's interesting. So cool.
And
Okay.
I'll tell you something. Today is Saturday,
right?
and every Saturday you're supposed to change that.
Oh, okay.
So you have to tie it every Saturday at your house.
Do you do that?
I don't, but we have a person who comes every Saturday and changes on its own, on
In-
him own.
Interesting. You have somebody yourself. That's what they do. That's like their job. They go around
Yeah,
and they just
that's their job.
change. Interesting. So
They
what's
carry a bunch of lemon and chili with them, and they just go to everybody's house and change them, and
okay?
they have their monthly fee.
Interesting. So this called Nimbu Mirchi
Yeah,
Totka
Thotka.
Totka. Okay, interesting. That's pretty cool. House of Good Fortune. Oh, I guess that's just the name of the place that they're the website that's showing this. Pretty cool. Okay, I'm gonna bring up a picture of the evil eye. I
Khamsa.
Khamsa. Yeah, it's called Khamsa. Evil eye. There it is. Yeah. You'll see it once you view this. Pretty common. It's pretty common. Oh, they have them on Wayfair. You can buy. Well, you can buy this. It's like a huge. Yeah, and it's actually called Kamsa. Hand modern wall hanging. You can buy a wall hanging for like $270. That's crazy. It's gonna buy a wall hanging like that. That's so.
Anybody who has a big wall and $270.
I guess so. Yeah. Jeez, wild. But yeah, people have them like on bracelets, on necklaces. I don't. The Egyptian might be. I think yeah, it is. Here's a little bit of information about the evil eye. The belief is that the evil eye dates back almost 3,000 years to ancient Greece and Rome. It is one of the strongest symbolic images in the world. Wearing an evil eye. So this Oh, here. Wearing an evil eye as an amulet is believed to provide protection against evil forces. The evil eye has symbolism in almost every country in the world and in every religion, such as Judaism, Islam, Hindu, Buddhism, and Christianity. And if you look at the image, it's this image is depicted a lot in Egypt in
Mm.
hieroglyphics, and it's some people believe it's not actually an eye. The image comes from part of the brain that if you were to like cut, I think it's a specific cross section of the brain, you get like you get something that looks very similar to that symbol,
Oh,
which is
interesting.
wild. Yeah, it's wild. Yeah. I'm going to look this up now too. Cross section of brain showing evil eye. I wonder if it'll come up like that. There's like a specific, yeah, here it is. Here it is. And it's also known as the third eye. Yeah, look at that image. The pineal gland. That's right. Known as the pineal gland.
Yeah, of course, we are familiar with the third eye, and it's pretty common in
Yeah,
Indian culture.
yeah,
We meditate on third eye. We believe that our gods have third eye, and that is what they control the world through with.
very cool. This is a cool image too. Yeah, there's a lot of cool images on this stuff. Yeah, so pretty wild stuff, man. That's kind of interesting. So you do that every week. You said you change it over
Every Saturday.
every Saturday. Okay, very
And
interesting.
Saturday is said to be the day of evil. I'm not
Oh,
sure, but
day of
probably
evil.
that is why they do it on Saturday.
The day of evil to ward off the evil spirits. Do they celebrate Halloween there?
They have recently started celebrating here.
Hmm.
Halloween isn't a big deal here.
Hmm. I think it comes from like pagan religion originally.
Yeah, it comes from the western part of the world, and that is why Indians are not much aware of it,
Hmm.
really. But recently, there have been Halloween parties
It's
where
kind
you
of
can
fun.
pay and yeah, you can pay, dress up, and just have drinks. That is the whole point of every party,
Do you drink? Because I know there's part of the culture in as far as I know in India that they don't drink, they don't eat certain foods.
right?
They eat everything is halal.
Yeah,
Is
yeah.
that for you? You follow all that?
No, there's like 20% of the population that doesn't eat meat, stays away from alcohol. So that's
Okay.
like 20% of India.
Hmm.
And I'm not a part of it. I enjoy drinking and meat as well.
You'll eat all meat? Anything?
No, I chicken is my favorite.
Okay.
That's it. Chicken is probably the most common meat you will find here.
Sure. But will you eat pork, beef?
I would. I have tried beef
Hmm.
and I didn't quite like it to my taste.
Hmm.
So I'll stick to chicken for now.
Lamb? Have you ever had lamb?
Yeah, we have mutton here,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
similar to lamb.
Mutton. Yeah, sure. What's like the most exotic food you've ever eaten?
Most exotic. Let
Yeah.
me think.
Yeah. Something
I
that's
think it.
uncommon.
I think I had bought a kind of
Hmm.
cheese roll from Dubai, and
Okay.
it was very different because it had little meat bits inside it.
Had meat bits inside of it.
Mm, that was rare.
Yeah.
I don't remember the name of that.
Oh, okay. You're gonna have to figure that out. Let me know. Have you ever eaten crocodile
Sounds like you have.
or alligator? Alligator. Really more alligator than crocodile. Yeah, I've had alligator. Uh, and do you like? Do you eat the insides, like tripe and kidney and liver and all that stuff?
Yeah, for goat, they offer different organs as different dishes.
Hmm.
So mutton is common. After after the mutton is run out, you have the other option of liver, lungs, and I think
Lungs.
I think kidney is also there. I'm not sure.
You can eat
Yeah,
lungs,
yeah. I have tried mutton lungs.
but what do you eat from the lung? Like you're eating the like what are you eating from the lungs?
The lung part? I'm not sure. Okay, so you haven't tried lungs.
Never tried lungs. Have you tried brain?
Yeah, again, mutton brain.
Wow. Is it good?
Again, I'm not a big fan of, different kinds of meats.
Hmm.
I'll have them, but I'm not a fan.
It's you don't seek it out.
Yeah,
Okay.
but I've seen people who are like, okay, let's have brain today. I feel like eating mutton today. I've seen people like that. I've seen people craving for fish. But I've never craved for any specific kind of meat.
No? Oh, interesting. Interesting. I try to switch it up. Like my diet consists typically of a mixture between chicken, chicken breast, pork loin. I'll have like filet mignon, bacon wrapped filet mignon.
Hmm. Hmm.
I'll have lamb chops, and that's two. Oh, and I got salmon. Salmon and tuna will be like pretty common. Every once in a while, I might switch it up, have something different, but that's if I go to a restaurant. I'll have something a little bit more exotic that I don't normally make myself. Yeah, but
Good.
yeah, yeah. I actually think I have to up my meat portions a bunch because I heard that. I mean, I'm definitely not nowhere close and nowhere, and I wouldn't ever do this. I would never want to become like a bodybuilder. But I know like bodybuilders, they generally will try to consume. I think it's something like 180 grams of protein a day, which is
Yeah.
ridiculous. I may be getting. I'll have like two eggs and then either like a piece of chicken or like pork loin or one of these. So maybe that's another 12 grams. Each egg is what? I don't know, 6 grams. So it's 6, 12. Maybe I'm getting 24 grams of protein a day. I don't think that's enough. I mean, I guess I get a little bit more from vegetables and all that, but I think meat proteins. I think I need to be getting a lot more meat proteins.
What I think is you're already having a pretty good amount of protein. The WHO recommends 60 grams for an average person.
6-0.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
that is when you're not working out.
Hmm.
So that's the least amount of protein that you need to have just to stay healthy.
Right. So then I'm definitely not getting enough.
I think you are because you seem quite healthy to me and fit. So I think 60 gram is something that is easily gettable, and you are eating eggs and what you said, chicken
Yeah, chicken.
breast.
Yeah, I'll have either chicken breast or salmon or tuna or steak or something like that every day. So 2 eggs and then a piece of meat every day. But that's all the animal protein I'm getting, which is about half that amount. That's like 30. That's only 30 grams, give or take at the most. And I also exercise.
I'm pretty sure you're getting more than 60. You'll have to maybe check it in a some diet app or something,
Yeah, maybe, maybe.
Healthify Me or something like that.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea. Actually, yeah, I know there's like all these calculators where you can sit there and plug in all the things that you're eating, and it will spit out all the different ways you're getting your calories, and if you should be including certain foods in that diet or whatnot. So I think I did that like a long time ago, but it's kind of a pain in the butt to keep up with it. Like you got to do that all the time,
Really?
every day with every meal.
I enjoy doing that.
Yeah.
I used to use this app called Fat Secret. It was a very simplistic app,
Okay.
and I used to log in whatever I eat from morning to night. That is when I was, very into the gym. I was
Okay.
a regular gym freak.
Okay.
But when I stopped going to the gym, that habit was also gone. But I still kept logging what I eat.
Hmm.
It gives me a general idea of how much protein more I should be getting and how many calories I am supposed to get more.
Hmm.
So because in India, meat is not that common.
Right.
The most of our food is vegetarian. So I need to keep a track of protein so that I know how much protein powder to take at the end of the day.
Uh, yeah, maybe that's a good way to do it too, just through having protein powder.
Yeah, that's the easiest way to get the daily protein intake.
But not as probably it's probably a lot healthier just to get it from actually eating. Most
Well,
likely. Yeah.
if you see where the protein powder comes from, it's okay, it's kind of healthy. I won't say 100% healthy, but yeah, it is still healthy because it comes from milk.
Mm, mm, mm. Right. So it's milk
It's
protein.
just, yeah, it's just extracted from milk.
Mm,
You
interesting.
take out all the sugar and fat from the milk, and what you're left with is milk protein.
Interesting. I did not know that. You're teaching me things today. That's good. Okay. Something to consider. Something to consider because it's easier to do it that way. It's way easier to just, drink it, especially if
Yeah.
you're because I have like 2 meals a day. I do intermittent fasting, so I won't eat from about 10 o'clock at night. And then the next time that I eat will be about 2 in the afternoon the next day.
All right.
So,
That's a good amount.
pretty good amount of fasting. And then I'll just eat whatever I want from 2 until 10. But I usually just do 2 meals because it's all the time I have. But if I had a protein shake, then I could just have that basically throughout the day, a little bit at a
Mm.
time. I could probably add stuff to it.
Or maybe you can have it in coffee flavor along with coffee.
I don't like coffee.
Oh,
I'm,
what were you drinking now?
what
I
do I
thought
drink?
that was coffee.
Hot water.
Ah,
Just plain hot water, man. That's it.
all right.
I know. I'm like an old grandmother.
No, sometimes I also have a glass of warm water to keep my throat healthy because I take lectures and after lectures, the throat kind of feels weak.
Of course. Of course. Yeah, absolutely. especially if you're talking all the time. Do you ever get laryngitis?
What is that? The
Laryngitis is just,
inflammation?
I don't know if it's an inflammation or what, but you just lose your voice. Or your voice just sounds like not much sound comes out of it. It almost sounds like a whisper.
Is it temporary or happens for a few days?
It could be a few days, sometimes longer. Yeah.
Okay, so I don't think I get that uh, condition a lot.
Mm. Yeah. I used to get laryngitis all the time. So I used to run restaurants
Ah,
and it was very loud. And I'm like, in order to be able to, like, I'm constantly talking to people. Like, we would serve on like a Saturday from about 10, 11 o'clock until 2 or 3. We'd serve about 2,500 to 3,000 people.
oh,
So
it's
everybody that
big.
comes in, I'm greeting them. And then all the staff, I'm communicating with them. And it's loud. So I'm speaking, I'm really trying to project my voice so people can hear me. And then I go into the kitchen. I have to talk to the kitchen staff. Then there's my partner. I'm speaking to him. And so I'm like talking nonstop for that entire time. And then, the other days I'm still talking quite a bit. Not as much, but still quite a bit. So I would lose my voice like once every couple months.
Wow.
Yeah. And I would lose it for like 3 or 4
I can't
days.
even imagine what, like, 2,500 to 3,000 people a day.
Yeah, we were busy. Well, just Saturdays. The other days were slower. So that was our busiest day. Because
Oh,
we had a big takeout counter where people can come in and just order stuff to go. But we also had like a fridge set up, an open fridge where I stocked all kinds of food, like salads and just anything that they can just grab really quickly and bring to the cash, pay for, and leave. But then we also had seating. We had uh, about 80, 90 seats indoors. And then if it was during the summer, we had a patio of about another, it's like seven tables times four. So like 28 seats, another 28 seats outdoors. So yeah, there's a lot of moving around. Then I would have like six, 7 servers, one or two bussers. Then I'd have my kitchen and a baker, and then the people at the cash. Yeah, it'd be a lot of people constantly being. I have to communicate with. Like I have to communicate with everybody constantly. Yeah.
what was it, like a bus station?
Um, where was it? Like what area? Like what was around
Yeah.
there? It was like a big. It was like a. It was a plaza, and it was like a strip. It's like a strip plaza. So on the plaza there was like one road to go up, one road to go down, and there's all kinds of shops on either side of the road. So on like this side, there were like Starbucks and like a burger place, and then our restaurant, and then maybe like I don't know, like a convenience store I think was there at the time, and a few other shops, and then the same thing on the other side, like an ice cream place and a whole bunch of other shops, and there's like a pharmacy there too. So and then on the other side of that street was Walmart.
Hmm.
So there's a
Okay.
huge Walmart there. Tons of people constantly flowing in and out. So yeah, it's pretty
Yeah,
busy.
makes sense.
Yeah, it's a busy area. So yeah, it was like line up out the door all the time on a Saturday. Sunday pretty busy too. Could do about that much on a Sunday. Yeah, it was wild. It's wild. It's good. But the margins are very small in a restaurant. Like people are when you see a restaurant like that, you think they're just printing money.
Yeah,
The margins are very small.
really?
Yeah, because everything we sell is like the most expensive meal with like let's say you're going to get a because it was all lunch, breakfast and lunch, no dinner. So let's say you get like a salad and some bread and I don't know a juice, like the most expensive things for a meal. Maybe you can even get like a little appetizer or something. Your meal might be $20 or something like that, maybe 25 at the most. So the margins are very small, and then our cost to that is high because it's not just the food; it's also all the staff, and then my salary, my boss. Yeah, so yeah, I mean, we'd probably our yearly revenue was probably about about a million and a half,
That's still
which
pretty good.
seems high, but there's a lot of expenses. A lot
So this was pre-expenses.
that was just revenue. Yeah, just revenue, not
Ah,
profit. Not profit.
oh,
That's just revenue. The rent alone would be like the rent was about maybe $50,000 a year.
gotcha.
Yeah, so that's just the rent. Yeah, and then staff was probably about like I don't know, like 20% of that total for the year. So what's 20% of a million and a half? Like was that 300
300,000.
and 300? Yeah, 300,000 just for that, just for staff, just to staff, and like
And
that's
the
without
and the
my.
main expense goes into the raw material.
And then the main expense is all like the packaging for takeout stuff, and the upkeep of all the equipment. Um, then there's all the food cost. Food cost would be about 30%. So just between like the staff and the food cost is like 50% out the door right there. So yeah, yeah, it's tough. Restaurant business is challenging. Yeah, it's not for everybody,
That's
but
why they have to keep the prices high.
for sure, for sure, it's tough, but it's fun. It's a lot of fun too. But you have no life. You have no life. Literally, like
Understandable.
yeah, it's all you're doing with your life, basically.
Because you have to get up early morning, procure food.
Yeah, prepare, and then by the time you close, you're toast. So we would like our staff would come in at like 4 in the morning to get started to prepare everything for the breakfast rush. It starts at 6, and then you're done by about 3 or 4. But you're toast after that. Like you're all you want to do is sleep.
I can imagine that.
Yeah, that's fun. But I'm also glad that I'm out of it. I don't want to have to do that ever again.
So we can basically conclude that most of the things look good from outside.
It's true. It's true. It's really easy to judge, things being amazing, or when you just see it from a very small window, when you're not actually living it. It's easy to make the judgment that it's so much better, or or maybe not better, but it looks like so much fun and it's great and everything's wonderful and making all kinds of money and yeah, not so much. That's like just to get by. Like that's a restaurant that's like getting by, you know. Yeah, yeah. Most of the restaurants on that strip closed down. They didn't last.
Hmm.
And they looked busy. Like from the outside, like you would think they were really like doing well.
I live in a city that is crazy about food.
Hmm.
Everywhere you go, there is always a new food joint opening up, and there is some food joint closing down. And that doesn't make sense because all the time I see people, they are just eating food and talking about food. I don't understand why the joints are closing down. I do see joints opening up. Definitely,
Yeah.
there's some demand, but I also see the closing. Also see them closing down.
Yeah.
That,
I yeah, I think because it's very similar here too. I think that has to do with a couple things. One, I think it has to do with people that get into the business not knowing too much about the business, thinking that it's all glamorous, thinking
uh,
that, they're going to be printing money, and they get a very 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 small slice of the pie. And it's not enough.
like
It's not enough to
like
survive.
5%.
Yeah, maybe not even that much, right? And or sometimes you do get people who will like they'll move around. So they'll open up a restaurant here, and because it just opened up, it does really well for a certain period of time. And they only maybe lease the space. They have the space for just a very short amount of time because they know that they're only going to last because after people kind of get used to the fact that they're you know of the food, they've had the food, they don't really aren't as enticed to go back as frequently and everything, and they know business will slow down over a certain period of time, then that's fine. They kind of cut their losses. They've made their money in that short period of time, and then they just move and open up somewhere else and kind of do the same thing. Sometimes that's a strategy too, depending if it's like these little food shops. I think street food is big there, right?
Yeah, street food is like everywhere, and you can pretty much have a cart and start any of your food business here.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. So I think that might be the thing too, right? I mean, maybe they kind of rent the space for a certain amount of time to have their cart there. I'm guessing that that's probably how it works. You have to like, have a lease for the space. You have to have a contract where you're able to use that space for your cart for some time. And then after the lease, maybe they just go to a different location to so that way they always have that novelty factor with their food.
To be honest, in India, the most places that we see the carts and all, they don't really have to pay the rent.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's basically like they come from a poor background and they're
Okay.
trying to make a living for themselves. So
Oh
people just allow them.
wow.
So if you see my house, outside my house in the evening, you will see lines of carts, and
Oh.
they are all people from the slum who are trying to sell food or
Mm.
small products to earn a living.
Wow. 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 So maybe that's part of it too, is the competition is really fierce.
Yeah. The only thing that you really have to pay for is a 20 rupees slip or something like that.
Okay.
Uh, f- that's basically an what you can see, a permission slip
Yeah, it's a
from the
permit.
municipality. Yeah, it's a permit. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay, not bad. So they get their permit. They don't have to, lease a space. They just go there and decide on some food they're going to sell. They cook it there on the spot. And okay, all right. Yeah, so probably if it's really inexpensive to get going, which it sounds like, and you have the ability to just to basically, the ease of entry is really quick and seamless, and there's a lot of people that are really struggling, and this is the easiest way to kind of get started to do something to earn a living for your family, then yeah, probably there's a lot of competition for limited space.
Yeah.
And
And
also,
we have seen people here who have become like the city legends. They started from a cart and they earned so much that they bought their own restaurant.
oh wow, amazing. Well, their food must be really good.
They are basically selling sandwiches and stuff,
Okay.
but they make it so unhealthy that it's bound to taste good.
And they probably also know how to minimize their costs very, very, very well.
True. True.
Yeah.
Not everybody can do that.
Yeah, a lot of people, that's like the biggest struggle, is making sure the price is such that people are willing to, you want to create it so it's valuable. You want to create so that it's a little bit less expensive than people expect it to be.
Yeah.
Too much less, because if it's too much less, then people will wonder like is something wrong with the food. But if it's like if you're expecting it to be $8 and it's seven, or well, I guess you're rupees, but if you're expecting it to be this much and it's just a little bit lower, then I think it's more enticing because you feel like you're getting a bargain. You feel like you're getting a deal. And then if you can really minimize your costs on that and have enough profit to be able to sustain yourself and grow, but that's really hard, really hard. And it sounds like it's
Makes
probably even
sense.
harder to do that there.
Yeah. You have to find the right balance.
Yeah. How long has it been like that there?
Always.
Yeah. Since the
Right
beginning of
from my
time.
childhood, I've seen it happening every day. So there is this one joint, a food joint that has opened. It's like a food cafe, and its name basically tries to express that it is trying to sell something healthy.
Okay.
So it's a healthy food chain, and It ran for about 1 or 2 months. It was catching on, and just when it was speeding up, someone came with a food cart with a similar name and trying to sell the same kind of menu.
Jeez. And there's nothing they can do about that.
Nothing. There is no patent for that.
Yeah.
And the
There's
food
no
cart
copyright.
is, yeah, definitely they don't have any expenses, and they are selling the same menu for like one third the price.
Jeez. Yeah, that's really competitive. That's very, very, very competitive. That's tough. That's really tough. What would you say is in your area, at least? I mean, are you in like in the heart of Mumbai?
No, just outside Mumbai.
Like how far outside? Like how long does it take you to get to the city center?
The city center, 1 hour.
1 hour.
Yeah.
Is that because of traffic?
Yeah, traffic as well as the distance.
Hmm. If there's no traffic, how long would it take to get for you to get there?
Yeah, still 1 hour because
Hmm.
if we go by road or by train, it takes almost the same time.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Okay, so is that like where you're at? Is that considered to be like a suburb?
Yeah, you can. Yeah, it is actually a suburb.
Okay. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. So what would you like? What's something else that's really popular? Like, are there sort of like do people hang out at malls? Do they go to? I mean, I know they go to these like tea shops. Maybe they go for like food. But what else is like a popular hangout place or venue for people there?
To be honest, in my suburb there isn't much to
Hmm.
do. But if you're asking about Mumbai, then there is a lot of things that people do.
Hmm.
Mumbai is very versatile. It has stand-up comedy, it has movies, it has
Oh,
theater, it has uh, even those dance group
okay.
where
Okay.
you go for an evening and enjoy salsa or tango, something like that.
Interesting. Who's a popular comedian there?
Kanan Gill is my favorite.
I wanna. Does is his comedy in English?
Yeah, mostly English.
Oh, okay, perfect. Maybe we can. Well, like I want to. Can I look him up? I want to look him up right now.
In fact, his latest special, which was on Amazon, I think it was on Amazon, I'm not sure, but it was very, very philosophical.
Oh, okay. It got you to think.
It was very deep.
Okay, interesting. What's his name again?
Kanan Gill,
How you spell that?
Kanan
Oh, here it is.
Gi.
Kanan. I got him.
Yeah,
Oh, here it is. Okay, cool. Full comedy special. Is this it?
yeah. Is
Oh,
this it? This was the philosophical one.
this is one point. He's got 1.2 million views on this on YouTube. He put up a month ago. Wow, not bad. Now I have to. I'll have to look him up. I'll have to watch some of his stuff for sure.
Sure.
Yeah. Oh, he's been doing this for a while too. So he's like one of the most popular stand-up comedians.
Yeah, in fact, stand-up comedy is pretty new in India. It only
Hmm.
started like 10 years ago.
Interesting.
And
Interesting.
he was the first of one of the first stand-up comedians.
Oh wow. And it looks like he's got like either a vlog or and he does like some sketch comedy too, maybe. Cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah, I'm gonna look him up for sure. I like it. I'll
I'll I'll send you a link of my own stand-up as well. I had attempted a few
did you?
some time back. Yeah,
That's cool. How'd it go?
but I never got into the flow.
Hmm.
Like I would only write when an idea struck, but I never could write it, mm, like voluntarily.
Mhm.
I could never make myself write scripts.
Hmm. Do they have open mic nights? Like places where you
Yeah,
can,
they do.
yeah? I bet you that would be very popular there right now to start a place, to have a club, to have an open mic night, let people come
In
out.
Mumbai, in Mumbai, yes.
That'd probably be a very good business.
Again, the rents are way too high, and the
Hmm.
problem is the awareness and the market for this is still not that big.
Oh, okay. Okay, it's not really taking off yet.
Mm. So there are a few places, Canvas Love Club and I think Habitat. These are doing pretty well
Okay.
because they were the what you could say first to the market.
Okay. Habitat. That's the name of the place.
Yeah,
I'll
most of
just
the stand-ups that take place, they either take at Canvas or Habitat.
Canvas. Canvas Mumbai. Uh, co-
Canvas Love Club.
Laugh Club. Let's see. Laugh Club. Canvas Laugh. Oh, they've got an Instagram too. I want to see some pictures. Okay. Cool. They've got I like their sign in the background too. It's look like seating looks nice.
Yeah,
They've got like it's yeah, it looks like it's a nice size too. So this is like the place that people are doing their stand-up comedy at. I got to
this was
cool. Very cool. Reviews of Canvas Laugh Club, Palladium.
Palladium. That's the mall in
Oh, okay,
Mumbai.
it's inside a mall
Hmm.
in Zomato. What's Zomato?
Zomato is food delivery service. I
Okay.
don't know. Like there is Uber Eats there.
Okay, cool. I'm learning so much. You can tell I know absolutely nothing about Mumbai, except that there's very good food there. That's about
Oh,
the
variety.
extent of what I know about culture from India. Is that the food is amazing.
Like like they say uh, about New York, there are so many bars that if you go to one bar a day, it will take you 20 years.
Mm,
The same applies to Mumbai and food.
that's great. I love that. And by the time you try out all the food within 20 years, it'll all be different.
True, there will be always some other menu.
Yeah. So you can just start all over again. It's never ending.
So it it would be very satisfying to be a foodie then.
Hmm. What I bet you there's got to be some good YouTube channels with people from India who are just going around eating and critiquing food. There's for sure a bunch of those channels.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, there are like thousands of them.
Oh yeah, for sure. There must
Yeah,
be.
one of my friends is a foodie blogger.
Oh, okay.
He would never wake up for a gym or a cricket game, but he would definitely wake up to go and try some new food.
How long has he been doing that for?
I think maybe over in a year.
Over a year. And it's like, can he see this being something that can actually like sustain him with an income that he can just focus only on that?
No, he already has a pretty good income. He's uh, owning a business,
Okay.
but this is just for his hobby.
Okay. It's just for fun.
Yeah,
Because I think there's some bloggers out there that still do really well. I think the strategy is that they have a lot of viewership. They have a lot of people that look at their stuff, look at their content, read their content, and then they can provide links to maybe different products and services that they endorse.
They do.
Yeah. And then they
Yeah,
can,
Instagram is full of that.
yeah. And then they gain an income stream from that. It's like it's just affiliate marketing.
Hmm.
So I'm sure he does stuff like that too.
He would probably in future.
Yeah. Okay. So he's still building it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because that's where those things are at, like sponsorships. He hasn't done like a YouTube channel or anything like that.
No, he's currently trying it only on Instagram, and I think it depends a lot on, I don't know, chance,
Mm.
because not everybody picks it up. I think there are thousands of foodie bloggers, and or even maybe more. There might be lakhs,
Mm.
but only few get popular.
Mm.
So I don't know what is that differentiating factor. And maybe that applies to every field, right?
Yeah. I think it comes down to marketing. I think nowadays things really come down to marketing, like how
But
visible you are.
still, it takes a lot of going viral, and we still don't know what are the things that make something go viral.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Some people claim that they know what makes something go viral, but I don't buy
But
it.
yeah, I don't buy that either, because Instagram keeps on changing the algorithm.
Yeah.
So there can't
Yeah.
be a fixed formula for that.
I know there's strategies, and I agree that there's strategies make sense to include in your content that maybe increase the chances of something going viral, but I don't think there's a way to guarantee ever that something's going to go
Exactly.
viral. Yeah. I think I've heard one of the best strategies is to look at Google Analytics, for example, and see what people are searching, see what are trends, see what's popular.
SEO.
Yeah, exactly. And then use those
Yeah,
items
actually,
that people are searching
SEO
for.
was the beginning of it all.
Yeah.
And now SEO has become very common. Now people have moved on from SEO. Now they are just targeting viral, viral, viral.
Yeah.
That's it.
I think it's also consistency. Um, so I think it's a variety of things. Like you have to, of course, have content that people are actually going to be interested in. You have to see what people are interacting with and then pivot when you see that people are no longer interested in that stuff. If you want to go those lengths, I think there's also some people that just sort of do whatever, and if it works, it works. It doesn't, it doesn't. I'm more of that type. Like I don't know if I'd ever get to the point where I want to focus so much of my time and energy trying to figure out what are the best things to include in content. I think you just let it happen organically, and if it works out, cool. If it
I
doesn't, that's fine too.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think we should follow our instincts. If something makes you do something,
Mm.
like if our energy will direct us to make more of these podcasts, we will do that.
Mm.
If it will make us experiment with new things, we will do that. But
Agreed.
we don't really want to force it, right?
Yeah, I agree. Just do whatever kind of seems right at the time,
Mm.
and that's about it. Yeah.
Yeah,
What
because
other what other kinds of
the
content?
thing is, the whole idea is to enjoy the process.
Yeah, for sure.
That's,
It's
yeah,
got to be
people
fun.
forget that.
Yeah, it's got to be fun for sure. What are so I'm learning a lot about you. So you've done stand up comedy. I know that you used to have a YouTube channel where you were posting up sort of, you know, I don't know if you're doing
Randomly.
this with like all of your content, but I know the one video I saw was like the top shows of all time. I think it was or something like that.
Yeah.
Um, so what else have you tried for you know hobbies and things just to kind of get outside your comfort zone?
Mm, I've already told you about my coding hobby.
Mm,
So
you did.
I had made and launched a website. It was a dating website
Okay.
or a social website.
Okay.
But again, I after launching it, I gave it up because I really wasn't keen on marketing it,
Mm.
because it's all about getting users and more users.
Yep. Yeah, you have to
So
have a large amount of users for that to be successful.
yeah, so I wasn't really keen on finishing it, and Yeah, that's it. But
Okay,
I was happy that I made it all by myself from the scratch.
that's cool.
So that felt like an achievement.
What was it called?
It was called a 7 Hap.
Seven Hap.
Yeah.
Why Seven Hap?
So basically, the idea was I wanted to call it 7 App, but
Okay.
app was already taken, so I called it 7 Hap. So the idea was that are you familiar with the chakra system?
Yeah. So different areas of the body, and they all line up and all that stuff, right?
Right. So these 7 chakras are 7 personalities,
Right.
and for each personality, we may need 7 kinds of friends
Hmm.
with whom we can enjoy certain activities related to these 7 personalities.
Okay.
So, for example, if we enjoy spirituality,
Hmm.
we may need a friend for spirituality who will go out with us, explore these places, religious places, or get into meditation, etc.
Okay.
Then there might be your personality that enjoys creative things. So, a friend for watching movies
Hmm.
or watching stand up, something like that. So, basically, 7 Hap helped you connect with 7 kinds of people,
Hmm.
not
Interesting.
just one person.
Do you
So, it
have?
was so dating was also a part of that.
Yeah, that makes sense. Trying to match you up with somebody who would fit one of those personalities, I suppose.
Hmm.
Yeah. And I guess you would choose which personality you want to match with.
Yeah. Basically, instead of personality, I was giving the options of activities.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
which activity would you like to connect on the basis of?
That's smart. That's smart. I was thinking about starting up like at one point like a matchmaking service,
Mhm.
but a matchmaking service where people would take a series of psychology tests,
That would be good.
and then from that, I can determine if they would be the type of match for my community of potential people they could match with. So it wouldn't be a
Yeah.
dating site. It would just be a service where I'd be,
Serious dating.
yeah, exactly. Where it's serious dating. And some of like one of the main psychological tests they would do would be the dark triad. Have you ever heard the dark triad?
No.
Yeah. Dark triad's interesting. So it covers, well, it's triad for three, obviously. So it covers three um, dark, potential dark sides of our personality.
Mm,
Okay. So one is narcissism,
okay.
the other is Machiavellianism,
Okay.
and the other is psychopathy.
Psychopathy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you familiar with these three?
Yeah, I think we all have these three bad qualities to some extent.
Yep.
Narcissism, yeah, we give ourselves self-importance every now and then.
Yeah.
Then there is Machiavellism. We want to do bad things. We know they are bad and we still want to do them.
Yeah.
And the third was what?
Psych.
Psychopathy.
Yeah.
Uh, I think that has been curtailed to an extent because of the law and all,
Mm.
but we still have these tendencies.
Yep. Yep. Absolutely. And I mean, you have to have a certain amount of narcissism. I think is a certain amount of narcissism is healthy because if you don't have any narcissism whatsoever, then like how do you even wake up in the morning if you don't like yourself to any extent?
Yeah.
Right? So you have to be comfortable in your own skin, but not so much that your ego is out of control or anything like that. And then with Machiavellianism, I mean, I think I think you should have again to some small extent the ability to understand how to manipulate others or influence others to be able to kind of,
A good digital marketer.
yeah, you have to have that, I think, to a very small extent, have at least have the understanding of the mechanics around that. If you don't, then I think you're somebody who can be easily taken advantage of. You can't even spot that for yourself when that's potentially happening to you. So,
Eat or be eaten.
exactly, yeah. And then I think psychopathy, I mean, very, very, very small percentage, enough so that way, again, you can understand if somebody is like that, because those are tend to be quite dangerous people. I mean, somebody who scores very high in psychopathy is like you're talking about like an axe murderer or something like that, right? So like you want to be really,
Yeah, yeah. You bring up a very interesting point.
yeah,
You kind of have to have that few percent of psychopathy inside you to keep yourself protected.
for
So
sure.
when you go to a new city, you have to think that yes, this is something that could happen to me.
Mm.
If that is not there, then you are exposing yourself to every kind of evil.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Because again, if you don't have that awareness of how people could be if they are those types, then you won't have the awareness. You won't even realize it's happening to you, and you can fall victim to it. So, to some extent, you should have the capacity for it, but be able to have it sort of under control so you can make good, sound decisions that are actually beneficial for you, for the people you care about. Yeah. But yeah, I think there's like an importance. This isn't like an idea that comes from me, but there's this guy who I really like how he speaks about a lot of ideas. His name is Jordan Peterson. I don't know if you're, if
Oh,
you,
I love him. I love
yeah,
him.
he's
He's
great.
from Canada as well.
Yeah, he's great. So he says to me along the lines of that you should you should have the capacity to be a monster and be
Mm.
dangerous, but know how to
Contain it.
contain it, use it to your benefit when you have to. It shouldn't be out of control. Yeah, where it gets you in trouble or anything like that. And yeah, I agree. I mean, there somebody who doesn't have that capacity at all, who's completely harmless, can't
And will be
really.
run over.
Yeah, they'll just be ran through, ran over, taken advantage of. They'll be just used and abused, and that's obviously not
True.
good. So yeah, yeah. So anyways, there's the Stark Triad that's pretty interesting. Um, and I think if I had a lot of people go through it, I think there would be the chances of discovering that the large percentage of at least Western culture, I don't know so much about Eastern, but Western culture that is like highly narcissistic, I think is quite high.
Mm. Agree.
Yeah. Yeah. Like dangerously high. I don't know what's going to happen with that, but it's concerning. Yeah. I don't really know what we can do about it.
Only time will tell.
Yeah. I think maybe something will happen and there will be a sort of wake up call. I hope so, anyways.
I think the nuclear bombs, they were also a result of narcissism.
You think so?
Yeah, we can build it bigger, so why not?
But is that narcissism or is that just competition?
Uh, Maybe first one was competition, but then making 2000 of them.
But I think that the manufacturing of more of them was more to I think the threat of nuclear war from an adversary is enough to make sure that we don't actually have nuclear war.
Yeah, I understand. You have a sword, I have a sword,
Yeah.
that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But still, 2000 of nuclear power, that's just, and that's
I mean, it's
just
ridiculous. It's crazy. It's an absurd number.
unnecessary.
Yeah.
I think US has that. Maybe I'm mistaken. Can you look it up? How
Yeah,
many are there?
I'm looking it up right now. I'm one step ahead of you, man. Let's look this up. Um, let's
I
go
guess
back to
Russia
Google.
has the most, 20,000 maybe, and US is a little behind.
Yeah. All right, let's do this. Let's see here. So, how many nuclear bombs are in the world?
List them.
Yeah. Holy moly.
That's a lot, right?
Wow. That's insane. What's your guess on the number?
What I think is 20,000 for Russia.
Okay. Okay, so the worldwide amount is actually maybe going to surprise you. It's 12,500.
So it's 2,000 for Russia.
Maybe. I think they have a map here. So, United States 5,244 and Russia has 5,889.
Mm, wow.
Wow.
It's like they're building it overnight.
Yeah, it's crazy. India has 164.
Mm.
My country, Canada, I don't think has any.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I don't think we do. I think we just rely on the US. If something happens, you got to back us up.
How does it feel that you have 5,000 nuclear missiles below your ass?
In a way, it actually kind of. Listen, if I had to choose, I don't know what you would choose, but if I had to choose a neighboring country, any neighboring country in the world, I would choose the US. I mean, they're the most powerful. They're, at least for now, comparatively to the whole world, they're the most stable. That doesn't really say very much, but they're the most stable economy, most influential, most likely to remain an
In power.
ally. Yeah. So I think if I had to choose, there are other countries that are really good choices as well, but I think the United States is the best choice. I mean, what if you could choose any country in the world to be a neighbor with?
I would choose. I still don't know if choosing a neighbor, a good neighbor, is actually going to help because all the neighbors of India, they are enemies of India.
Well, that's the thing, right?
So we don't know if the neighbors are really going to be good neighbors.
Yeah. But okay, which neighbor do you think would be the most likely to be a good neighbor out of all the countries? Maybe a tough question to answer, but maybe interesting, especially for India. Because India is a very interesting country in that way.
So can you rephrase what you just asked?
Sure. So if you had to choose a country to most likely to be the most, to be the most likely to be an ally over a very long period of time, that could be consistently an ally that you could really rely on, you could really trust, um, that you would be able to help, they would help you. Like it would be really good for the economy, be good for your people, be good culturally. Um, what do you
I
think?
would. So something like Maldives and Singapore,
Mhm.
because Maldives had a pretty good tie with India for a
Mhm.
long time. It's mainly for tourism, but recently there has been some tension over there as well.
Okay.
Then the following second best option would be Singapore. But again,
Singapore.
I'm
Yeah.
thinking in terms of tourism.
Sure.
Singapore isn't really a country which can be thought of as a high military power. I,
Yeah.
I'm guessing.
Yeah, I don't think so. They couldn't really back you up. And India is a very interesting country in that way because more and more India is becoming much more powerful,
Hmm.
economically, militarily.
Yeah.
influentially around the world. India is a very interesting country right now. Like it's kind of one of those countries that's I think in some ways flying under the radar. Because when people think of economic powers, they're thinking of the United States and China. They're not really like I think the mass population globally around the world, not like politicians and people who are really into political science, but you know, I think the general population are not really paying attention to what is going on with India.
Mm.
And I think within the next maybe 10, 15, 20 years, India is going to become a lot more powerful of a country
Yeah,
and a
from
lot more
from outside,
competitive.
from outside it may seem like that, but we also have internal struggles that are very bad. The biggest being Hindu-Muslim conflict,
Hmm.
just like US has, mm, if I am allowed to compare,
Hmm.
US has white and black
Yeah.
conflict.
Yeah.
India has Hindu-Muslim conflict, which is pretty stiff.
Hmm.
It's
Okay.
been going for decades. It's not gonna cool down anytime soon.
Hmm. It's really unfortunate, right? Because that sets the country back
Yeah,
from being able to
that's
make
sad.
like real progress,
And
right?
and the sadder part is that the people in power are promoting that.
Yeah.
They actually benefit from that.
Yeah. Because it helps them stay in power, I suppose, because there's enough of a
Yeah,
population that they can get riled up and polarize and
yeah. That's
yeah, politics.
that's what the in fact Indian news media is completely bought by
Hmm.
these politicians.
I'm imagine in a lot of ways. Maybe I don't know to the same extent or why, because I'm not as familiar with media in India as other countries. Not that I'm that familiar with it, anyways. But from what I understand, that's common around the world. I think just more countries are.
At least when I see US media,
Yeah,
from what I see, I can see that they still have freedom of speech.
yeah. But is it objective?
That's hard to define.
Yeah, I don't think it's objective. I think it's still people are bought. People are incentivized to report specific things in specific ways with specific narratives. Again, like, is it to the extent that it happens in other countries? I don't know. I don't know enough about that stuff, but I think it happens around the world to some degree. Maybe the U.S. is less. I know here um, there's a lot. There's a lot that is going on with our government that really needs to change dramatically. There's too much power that our prime minister has right now, too much influence, and he's making some poor choices. And I think that even comes down to media being influenced in particular ways to support particular narratives that are beneficial to the government. So yeah, I think that all countries the way that they're set up right now can easily be prone to and being susceptible to those outcomes. Yeah, it's really unfortunate because India could be like so much more powerful if they would have more cooperation. I would think between the
Yeah,
two cultures.
yeah. I think we have a big population, but we don't have that much efficiency.
And people that the
Once we get
education
the
system there, I think, is like for people that are educated, is really good. There's a lot of smart people that come from India.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's really too bad. It's really, really too bad. People are more concerned about their power and being able to stay in power and being able to control rather than making decisions that will actually benefit the country. They're concerned about themselves first before the country.
Because that's the reason they started this career. They wanted this for themselves. They were selfish from the beginning.
Yeah. I think that's where the
That's
real narcissism is.
yeah.
Yeah. I don't know so much about like the nuclear bombs being a result of narcissism. I mean, I think it's, I mean, yeah, I suppose it's more of like, what's that sort of a concept around this where it's like, I'll show you that mine's bigger than yours.
I don't want to see that.
Yeah, there's a lot of that, man. I think that's more of what it is. It's
Mm.
more of an intimidation factor. Like,
Yeah,
let's be as
it's
intimidating as possible.
in a way it's kind of childish.
It is.
Like I'll collect more than you, more crown caps.
Yeah. 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 It's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah, I agree. I don't think it's necessary at all. It doesn't make any sense to me. Um, I understand having like a certain amount of reserves, sure. But what's the like the minimal amount? I wonder what the minimal amount would be in order to still pose enough of a threat that nobody wants to actually send the nukes because you like your adversaries have a certain amount. Like, what is that amount? Is it
I would say if you if you have a specific enemy in mind, then all you have to do is count the number of important cities in their country.
yeah,
So in India, it would be like 10, 12 cities that
yeah,
are pretty important.
yeah,
So India's enemy needs to have 12 nuclear missiles.
yeah? That makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah, I mean, you would just definitely destroy the country pretty fast with that amount. I think even if you look at what happened with Japan, I mean, fair enough, Japan was a very different scenario back in World War II, a very different country back then, but two is enough.
But here's the crazier part. The bombs they used for Japan were pretty weak. They were only in
Right,
kilotons.
right. These are
And
megatons, right?
yeah, currently the power is like 1,000, 10,000 times more.
Jesus.
So 12 bombs can actually destroy 120 cities.
That's crazy. Yeah, it's so unnecessary. You don't need 5,000 nukes.
Yeah, that's enough to erupt the world.
Many times over, I'm sure.
So think about it. They are all placed within US. So if just one goes off by mistake, it can create a chain reaction and eat up the whole world
Yeah.
in a matter of seconds.
Do you think that would happen? Do you think
I
it's
hope
likely?
so. I think I think that would be the D-Day or the Judgment Day
Well, for
that
sure.
people that is spoken of in Bible,
Oh, yeah.
right?
100%.
Maybe that's how it is created, how it begins.
I'd like to think that that wouldn't happen.
Yeah, hopefully that doesn't, but if it does, it would be quick and painless.
Yeah. It would be pretty wild. Jeez. Maybe that's the great filter. You've heard the great filter?
Is it like the survival of the fittest, something like that?
So, the great filter is the idea where, so if you look into the universe and you ask yourself, are there any other intelligent life forms out there? You might think to yourself, well, there must be. Like, there's like how many planets are there from how many solar systems? From all these billions of suns exist, and all these suns, all these stars have planets around them, and so the likelihood seems like it'd be pretty high.
Hmm.
And if you kind of figure out, like, if let's say we're the average type of species in terms of intelligence and capabilities to advance ourselves to become multiplanetary and get be amongst the stars. Um, let's say we're not that special or unique in that way. We're just average. How long would it take a species like us to become multiplanetary. I don't remember what the number is, but it's not like, billions of years. Like it becomes very exponential. Like as you get the capability to be able to get to another planet and colonize that planet, and then you can easily start to colonize the solar system, and then from there you're going to likely have the technology to be able to use the resources of the sun directly to get out to other star systems and probably colonize a whole galaxy. Let's say, I don't know. Let's say it takes let's say it takes a billion years. I mean, the galaxy's been around for much longer than a billion years.
Mhm.
So then the question is well, then where is everybody?
Uh, that's the thing. It's not wrong to imagine or assume that there are other life forms, but it's wrong to assume that they are coexisting simultaneously.
Yeah, well, that's the thing too. Yeah, sure, sure, sure.
Because we as humans have been the way we are for like maybe 1 lakh years.
Yeah, a
Our
very small blip in
civilization,
time.
yeah, it's a very tiny dot in the whole big screen.
Yeah, that's true. So there's this idea as well that the reason why this kind of goes in part with what you're saying. The reason why we don't see any other life forms out there besides us is there's a great filter. There's sort of like this thing that happens to any species once they reach a certain level of technological capability. They sort of just take themselves out and eliminate their possibility to actually colonize beyond their own planet.
Now, here's something interesting. Like there is a conspiracy theory, not conspiracy, but there is a theory that our Earth was or humans came to Earth through aliens. Have you heard of that theory?
Yeah, sure, sure, sure. I forgot what it's called, panspermia or something like that, or maybe that's asteroids.
Yeah, I'm not aware of the name, but
Yeah,
the theory basically says that our ancestors were aliens.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's
So
possible.
in future, when we are highly technologically advanced, we will be going to other planets and we will be ancestors to some other species,
Yeah,
which will be much more advanced than us.
it's possible. And maybe like we're
And
able to
then they
get
will
to
go on.
exactly.
So basically, maybe there's just one species, intelligent species at a time in the universe, and they are just traveling like that.
Yeah, because just because you have the technological capability, let's say we're able to colonize Mars. Well, we don't have the technological capability to get beyond that like immediately. We have to
Mhm.
gain it.
Until
So
that happens, the life on Earth will be extinct.
yeah, and maybe yeah, before we can actually gain those capabilities, then life something happens to the life on Earth, goes extinct. You have a very small population of people that just have a very small subset of technological capabilities that can't go beyond, getting past the planet. They maybe are able to colonize the planet to the point where they can use the resources and survive, but barely hold on. And then, their DNA gets spread out over like maybe that population of people go extinct, their DNA is spread out, then over time maybe the sun gets bigger, then Mars is more habitable, their DNA is used within that within Mars itself to be able to extend a new form of life, and then that new form of life is created from there. Who knows, or something like that, or maybe that happens in some other. Maybe it happens on like Enceladus or Europa, or maybe another star system.
Or maybe that's actually happening in a planned way. We are doing space research on one hand, and then we are doing nuclear research on the other. They are trying to send important people out from Earth to other planet, and when they reach, this whole planet will be nuked with all the bombs.
Could be, could be.
So it could be plan of some intelligence.
Yeah, maybe, maybe it's just sort of the natural progression of life forms in nature.
Mm,
I hope
that
it,
is
I do believe we will get to the point within our lifetime where we're going to see bases on the moon, like proper bases on the moon, where they can take off from the moon and land people on Mars. I think we're going to see that. I don't
Yeah,
know.
that's quite possible.
I think it's quite possible. Uh, and then I don't know if we'll see proper colonization of Mars in our lifetime. Anything that we could call colonization, but I think we'll see people land on Mars. I think that's quite likely, yeah, within the next like 20 years.
Or maybe go there for a vacation or something.
That'd be an expensive vacation. Would you like to
Yeah,
go to space?
not really. I mean, if I really have to go, I don't wanna prepare all that much. I wanna see it as a vacation, not as something like
Yeah, not permanently.
not permanently. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. I wouldn't
like
want to go
Jeff
permanent.
Bezos. I think Jeff Bezos went to space, right?
I don't know if you could really. What do you consider to be space? I mean, how far away from Earth? How far out of the
Uh,
atmosphere do you have to be until you're actually really in space? I don't know. Like,
yeah,
what orbit do you
I,
have to be in?
I think polar orbit. Polar orbit is the lowest form of orbit.
Yeah,
It's what, 80 kilometers?
maybe something like that. Yeah. So I guess I mean, in that extent, probably. Yeah, he was in space, but I would think it'd be cool to take a trip to the moon. Like just you just get placed on
But
a rocket, you go out, go to the moon, step
that takes a
off.
lot of preparation. You are putting your life at risk, and for
You also
what?
have to be very physically fit to handle the
Mm.
to handle being on a rocket.
The launch itself is going to be devastating.
That puts a lot of pressure, a lot of stress on your body. That's for sure. But maybe eventually they build some sort of system where there's where there's some way to relieve the amount of stress that's put on the body from taking off.
They actually built one system, and they called it Angry Birds.
Angry Birds, really?
You remember that game, Angry
Oh,
Birds?
you're talking about like you're actually talking about Angry Birds. I thought you were talking about there's an actual system that people named after the Angry Birds game. Right, right. But I mean, maybe the easiest way is not really with a rocket. Like maybe it's with some sort of spacecraft where you gradually build enough altitude over time to get to orbit, rather than just trying to go straight to orbit. Maybe it's just more gradual, and that would be a lot less stress on the body, I would think, right? Because you can accelerate more gradually over time.
No, but with advanced technology, we can definitely create a system that would give a smooth launch and eliminate the feeling of high G that we experience inside a spaceship.
I mean, if they can figure that out, I'm sure engineers can figure out basically almost anything. So,
Yeah, in theory, it is possible.
hmm.
Like you might have seen Hyperloop trains.
Yeah, yeah.
So they can compromise the G factor somehow. So maybe the same principle can be applied inside spaceships.
That's interesting. If you accelerate gradually over time, do you experience the same amount of G forces as you know, like will the G forces against your body? I think it will. Like, it doesn't matter like how quickly or how slowly you accelerate, right? Like if you just keep accelerating, even if it's very slowly, you'll just get to the same amount of G's, but just more slowly, right?
Yeah, then you experience less amount of jerk.
Yeah, you just experience less jerk. Sure. Yeah, you experience less like because you're not going from 0 to 10,000
Yeah,
miles an hour. Like,
that's actually the scientific term,
hmm.
jerk.
Is it
It's
called jerk? Okay.
change in acceleration upon time.
Okay. There you go. I learned something new too. Again, teach me a lot of stuff, man. But it makes sense. It's a good term. Yeah. So you'd experience less jerk, but still the same amount of G's against your body, even if you're gradually accelerating.
Mhm.
except for once you actually get to, I think, at least low Earth orbit, right? Because once you get to low Earth orbit, you're not going to experience the same amount of G's anymore because you're basically just in free fall at that point, right?
If you are in orbit, yes. But if you are still trying to go vertically up,
Right. Even if
in fact,
it's like
in fact,
this.
when you're trying to spin, you already are negating the G. So on one hand, your G will be increasing
Hmm.
because of the launch. On the other hand, it will be decreasing because of the orbit. So it might feel the same.
Hmm. Interesting. Interesting. How many G's do you experience? I guess not. Well, I would think you would experience a lot more G's in an airplane than you do.
It still won't be what astronauts experience.
Well, sure, but I'm just saying, like airplanes, like just commercial airlines go pretty fast nowadays. Even
Maybe it's
jets, right?
1.5 G at the most, and that would be only during the launch. So maybe we can look it up.
Yeah, let's look that up. I want to look this up. I'm very interested to see. Okay, how many G's are experienced in takeoff while in a jet? Oops, a jet. How many G's does a person experience when taking off in a commercial airplane during the takeoff roll? You get up to a little over 60 meters per second in about 30 seconds. So that's an acceleration of about two.
2G.
Yeah, well, it's 0.2 G. Yeah, zero point 0.2 G. Okay, so not very much. But then if you were to continue, like, so you get to a certain speed. Let's say you're at, I don't know, 500 miles an hour. Then you want to go from 500, let's say, to 600 miles an hour. Because once you get to 500, you're not really experiencing, you don't experience those G's forever. Like once you reach a certain speed, if you're not accelerating
Constant
anymore,
speed.
you
Yeah,
just feel 1 G, right?
right.
But if you want to go from, let's say, 500 to 600, but just very, very gradually, you'll experience just a little bit more G.
But that G is in different direction. The G that we are currently experiencing is downward,
Right.
and the speed increasing acceleration that is in
You'll feel in
forward
the
direction.
opposite direction. You'll feel in the,
So it's something
yeah.
like when the bus starts and you are pushed backwards.
Yeah,
So that would be kind of the feeling. But
right.
the but the aeroplane has the liberty to do that acceleration very slowly.
Hmm.
So
So
that
then maybe that would work if you're just accelerating very gradually, very slowly over time to get up to enough of a speed to get into orbit, then you wouldn't feel you wouldn't feel the types of G's that would put the type of pressure on your body that would be anywhere close to what you would get from a rocket launch.
yeah. Currently the rockets are being launched with the help of fire. So
Yeah.
that is pretty hard to control. But in future there will be some laser technology or something that would be slowly accelerating the, or maybe they use antimatter, something like that.
Antimatter.
We don't know what's going to be the future technology. We don't know.
Yeah, that's a whole other conversation. Have you ever heard of what's his name? Anton Petrov?
Anton Petrov, no.
Anton Petrov. So Anton Petrov is a YouTuber. He has an amazing channel. It's just named after his name, and he's a physics guy as well. And he does videos pretty much every single day, and they're like about all the cutting edge science that is happening around the world. A lot of it is very focused on astrophysics,
I
but
see.
some of it is biology, some of it's chemistry.
So basically science, modern science.
Yeah, science as a whole. But the large percentage of what he reports on, and it's really like a report, he takes uh, publications and a lot of
I see.
documentation that the average person would never look up. and he summarizes what are in those papers. He picks a specific topic that might be interesting. Sometimes he follows it up with newer research that is happening from those publications. He'll follow up with that in the future episodes. And it's pretty good. It's pretty good. A lot of it's way over my head, but it's pretty good. Anyways, he was talking about antimatter. Just, I think he was just talking about antimatter today, and how there's this concept around how that could be potentially what like dark energy is, that it could actually be antimatter that's causing this sort of expansion, this expansion type of energy that's forcing everything apart.
Expansion of the universe.
Yeah, yeah. Pretty interesting stuff. Yeah, and he's talking about like how they're using, of course, all these colliders to see if they can create antimatter or observe it in some
They
form.
have created. There is, in fact, a general knowledge question, I think. What is the costliest material on Earth?
Hmm.
And that is, of course, antimatter, because it takes billions of dollars to just create one particle,
And it lasts for a very short amount of time, right?
right? It lasts for nanoseconds, maybe.
Yeah. But maybe I misheard some of the stuff in his video about that, about their ability to create it. Maybe it was more like long term. Maybe it was making sure that they can make it exist for a longer period of time, so they could study it more effectively. Maybe that's more along the lines of what he was talking about. But anyways, pretty crazy stuff. So like antimatter propulsion, essentially like I don't know if it would be like anti-gravity propulsion or just gravitational propulsion, but like there's a lot of these ideas that he talks about as well to bring us into the next age of space exploration. So that would be pretty cool. I don't know if any of that stuff's ever going to happen in our lifetime, but
No, probably not.
yeah, likely not. But
We'd be lucky to see cold fusion in our life, and that's the current goal, to be honest, for most people, most scientists.
cold fusion, yeah, for sure. Yeah. Wasn't there a breakthrough on that? There was a breakthrough on fusion, on a fusion reactor recently, wasn't there? But it was a very short lived or a very minuscule reactor that couldn't really power it much at all, right? But it kind of lasted. The fusion reaction took place over a much longer period of time than they've ever been able to get before. Do you remember there was an announcement on this?
I remember something like that because they compared it with the what is that? The core of Iron Man's suit.
Yeah.
What is that called?
Yeah. The core of Iron Man's suit. Let's look it up.
Iris, was it?
I don't know. The core of Iron Man's suit. Arc reactor. Iron Man
Or-
wiki. Core of Iron Man's suit is called. Yeah, the arc reactor is in Tony Stark's chest is often referred to as what's keeping him alive. Okay, yeah, it's the arc reactor.
Yeah, so they were comparing that to the arc reactor.
Hmm. Yeah, I can't remember how long did that last for. How long did it's also another thing I want to look up. I want to look up how long did the latest fusion reaction take place. Let's see. What happened to my Chrome browser? Oh, I think I closed it. I think I closed it. Let's reopen it. Let's see here. Oh, goodness. Now it's not going to show up because. Oh, there we go. Now we're good. Okay, so how long did the latest fusion reaction last? How long was the fusion reaction sustained U.S. scientists repeat fusion ignition breakthrough for second time. Oh, this is reported in August 7th, 2023.
Mm.
Interesting. Final results are still being analyzed. Lawrence Livermore achieved a net energy gain in a fusion experiment using lasers on December 5th, 2022. That was when I was thinking about that this happened. The scientists focused a laser on a target of fuel to fuse two light atoms into a denser one, releasing the energy. Yeah, that's what it was. The experiment briefly achieved what's known as fusion ignition by generating 3.15 megajoules of energy output after the laser delivered 2.05 megajoules to the target. Let's read what's at the end of this article. In other words, okay, so no, they're just reporting on this same thing. A major scientific breakthrough decades in the making that will pave the way for advancements in national defense and the future of clean power. But okay, so there wasn't, this is just a, but it says for the second time. But I guess this was the second time. There was a first time that was before this. But it lasted for a very, very small amount of time. Like I think for seconds or something like that, not even maybe milliseconds. Yeah, so this was the second time, I'm pretty sure. Anyways, yeah, cool. All right, man. I'm looking at the time. I think
It's almost 2 hours.
yeah, it's almost 11, almost 11,
Mm.
and a couple more things I want to get done by time the day ends. But this is fun.
Yeah, this was fun.
Yeah,
Much better than the last time.
yeah, much smoother. And actually, it's not bad. Like on your laptop, it's not bad. The
Mm.
like I said, the quality of video could be better, but it's fine. It's it's it's
Manageable.
it's manageable. It's okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Next time,
decent.
as I said, next time we are going to try and hook it up with my phone cam.
Sure,
Use my phone as a webcam. We'll
sure.
try that.
Yeah, but the audio now is way better.
Yeah. All thanks to this, whatever this is. This
Yeah.
is a noise cancelling
Oh, cool.
condenser or something.
Can you up the volume on that too?
I'm not sure how to do that. I'll try. Is it louder now?
No, but I might be louder for you.
Yeah, you are.
There you go. Yeah, so it just increases the volume in your ears, but not the volume of your microphone. But that's fine. There's probably actually a way to control that volume of your microphone directly on your system.
Mm.
Yeah, but it's not bad. The volume is pretty good when you speak. I can hear you pretty decently. All right, all right, my friend. Well, I look
All
forward
right.
to doing another one. And by the way, thanks again for putting together the logo. I like
Oh
it.
yeah, but I tried uploading that, but
Hmm.
somehow YouTube has some certain requirements of a size of the logo, so it
Right.
didn't allow me.
Yeah, maybe we just need to convert it.
Yeah, maybe into a TIFF file or something.
Yeah, maybe like yeah, different file format, um, or just like resize it.
Yeah, I'll try to do that and try it again today.
Sure, sounds
Sure.
good.
I don't want to disappoint our 2 million viewers with a blank logo.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. All right, man. Well, I mean the channel is searchable. I tried it out. You just type in 12-hour podcast and yeah, and you can see it. And maybe for the next time we have this, I'll create a little I can use the logo actually. I can probably download it straight from Signal where you sent it.
Mm.
And when we start our podcast, I can bring up the logo, just flash it.
And
Because
maybe
we're
an intro music.
yeah, I might be able to come up with some intro music. Yeah, maybe no, maybe not for next time, but eventually, yeah, some
Sure.
introduction
One
music would be
step at a
nice.
time.
Yeah, yeah, little things, make the channel more and more advanced as we go.
Yeah. Just like a civilization.
That's right. Yeah, evolution, buddy. It's all about
Mm.
evolution. Okay,
All right.
have
All
it.
right. See you next week then.
Yeah, I'll see you next week. We'll do it again. Thanks so much.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody. See ya.
See ya.